Hello. So I had all this planned out to do outside, and it's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous today. So I planned it to do today outside, and it is pouring the rain and has been all day long, and I don't want my assignment to be late. So we are in my new office here at SCC, so hope you're doing well, and I will start my assignment. What do animals and humans have in common without even trying? They both leave sign. Detecting the sign that was left behind is called sign cutting, and there's not one human or animal that can live and not leave some kind of small or large amount of sign behind. When I took my first year wilderness class, I stared at the ground and was looking for footprints. It was the only thing that I knew to look for. And so I remember my neck hurt, my back hurt, and I was flustered. It was awful. The second day in class, the instructor put us in a straight line, and we were to walk this trail. And it was over in Haywood County that I took this at one of their wilderness retreat fire colleges. And we had 30 seconds in between the person in front of us. And at the end of the trail, we were to write down how many playing cards that we saw while we walked the 1/4 mile trail. Couldn't talk to anybody. It was a solo kind of experiment, trial thing. It was hard. I'm 4'10", so everything is low, and so my viewpoint is low. And so everything from like 4 feet down was normal for me, but looking up and thinking of a red playing card I thought would stick out and a black playing card would stick out, and they don't. They hit it really good, and there's a whole deck, and the majority of the class found 25 playing cards. So when we went back through, we were able to talk that time and, pick out which ones we saw that someone else might have missed, and it really gave you the impression and the thought of how hard man tracking really, really is. We were taught by the end of the week to look for traces of clothes ripped in the trees and bushes, broken limbs, garbage that was left behind, asking families, do they like Mountain Dew? Do they smoke Camels or Michelob, drink Michelob Ultra or Coors Light? And being able to find signs like that maybe they left behind or could be a sign that they were there, or the lack thereof. If he went off with a 6-pack of Coors Light and there's, Mick Ultra, the chance that maybe it's not him on that track that you're searching for. So to answer your questions, sign cutting stick. It is a stick or a suitable object used as a sign cutting aid for measuring, marking, and locating prime sign areas. They assist in tracking, can be about 40 inches long. We'll have at least 2 markings to measure the stride of the tracks when used properly. It keeps the searcher looking in the right direction instead of every place else. So it'll keep them focused, as the book states. And so I'm going to use, the only thing I have in my office is Twix. So, if you have a footprint here, the book says to do the stride at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And so you'd put it at the heel of the foot, my Twix, and you measure from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock to find the next Twix or foot, and then you can go from there and as well do your 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So what that does is, instead of like I did my first year of wilderness class, look 360 degrees all around for a footprint, it kind of keeps you focused and it keeps you looking exactly where you need to be looking instead of all over the place and getting completely stressed out like I did. That was the worst class ever. They're easy, if not free to make. They usually great pointers. When I hear pointer, I think of my Catholic school, private school, and the pointers the teachers used to use, but this is a different kind of pointer. 2 uses for it is the sign cutting stick for helping for sign, and it also is a stride base. Like I said, for the 10 o'clock and the 2 o'clock, putting it in measuring for footprints. For light or lack thereof, to help you see a clear track or no track at all. If the light comes in at a low angle, it creates a shadow when it hits the impression, and then it highlights a special detail of the track that you wouldn't be able to see with other light sources and angles. Some examples for that is during the day when the sun beats straight down at these times, you have a higher chance of experiencing a flat light. So it's just going to be a light that shines straight down and will kind of take the footprint or take the impression away. Makes it harder to see instead of better to see. Flat light is not ideal for tracking. There's no contrast between the shadows and highlights. And if you have to track during the day, as weird as it sounds, I was always told by David Walker to bring a flashlight. And it would help with the contrast, especially if you bend down low and you put it at an angle. It'll help highlight and shadow the actual footprint or the track that you're looking for. As the sun rises in the morning, it casts longer shades, and it helps bring out the shadows, and same thing as sunset. June 27th, I was paged to our rock knob, I guess that's 2 nights ago now, for a search for 2 females and a dog. And I grabbed my mag light and my backpack and I walked out the door. LED lights strain my eyes and make it very, very hard for me to see. Mag lights and even some of the older lights I find personally to be a little bit better. It gives just the right amount of contrast with it. That night we had that sandstorm that moved in. I think it kind of moved in that day, but it was bad that night at Water Rock Knob, and it made it extremely difficult to see. I worked command and did not do the actual search. Boston Fire Department went out on the search. I got pulled into command, but even being up in command, the visibility was very rough at about 5 feet. And so just knowing, to have tools and multiple tools that work, that might not work, on another search or another call. I think being just broad and being open to trying new things and having different tools, especially when it comes to a sign cutting stick, is something that is easy to carry and might have more than one purpose that you can multi-use. Keep it light in your pack as well. 8 years now, I have been on the rescue squad, and tracking is still something I have not even come close to mastering. It easily flusters me. I also thought man tracking was only done with dogs. Coming from Florida, I wasn't in a lot of searches in Florida, and when I would see it on the news for missing kids and stuff like that, I would always see the dogs leading the pack and being the forefront of searches down in Florida. So I think that was something David told me in the 60s and 70s was popular. I was born in 83, so still to me it seemed popular, but I know that like many things, man tracking has evolved. And with it evolving comes ever-evolving tools and expensive things to buy and must-haves. And most of the time that I have gone on week-long TR training classes, I love them because you get to see all these cool things that people bring that you wouldn't think of, or that they saw someplace else, or that they've used and mastered and made it lighter to carry. And it's just awesome. It's really, really cool to see all the different nicks and knacks that work and don't work. Tracking sticks. Jack Keeney, author of the first man tracking book ever, used a stick with rubber bands to measure the stride and shoe size. And then from there, people started using ski poles. And that was something I know we had around the rescue squad for ski poles. And now we have trekking poles. Another interesting thing I learned while taking my many wilderness tracking classes is if there is an avid hunter in there, partner up with them. They are very, 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 very good at tracking, whether it be animal paws or it be able to find broken limbs. I have not mastered that either at all. Finding a broken limb and finding footprints are things I still struggle with. So to end this, I think I've answered all of the questions that you had on there. Let's end with something funny, since I can't be outside and I can't show you. I had it all mapped up to do my footprints and to do everything, and I've had to use Twix bars, which I'm going to eat one at the end of this. Why do you think it's called man tracking and not human tracking or something like that? And I'm sure you've probably heard this 100 times, so it's probably not funny for you. But I heard it at one of my first TR classes, and I still giggle when I hear it. And it's the easiest question that anyone has ever had to answer, and it's called man tracking because men don't stop and ask for directions, so they get lost a lot more than women. So it is called man tracking. Anyways, I want to thank you. It has been an absolutely outstanding class. It is one of the classes I wish I could have worked around and taken in person. I think there would have been so much more to learn in this class on a hands-on ability, but I still enjoyed it and I still learned a lot. I enjoyed having you as an instructor, and blessed to have you help me here through all of my little EDM procedures, and I look forward to seeing you either at a conference or sometime on Western. Thank you, Lisa. Bye-bye.